Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of U.S. History Made Plain. I'm a high school history teacher trying to make history as fun and interesting for my students as possible. So eventually the violence in Kansas actually bled over into everywhere. People felt like violence was acceptable anywhere, even in the government. Let's talk about Charles Sumner. In 1856, Charles Sumner, who was a senator from Massachusetts, gave a speech to the Democratic administration, letting him know how upset he was and how disappointed he was with their lack of just anything dealing with the issue of slavery and dealing with Kansas and bleeding Kansas. And he didn't hold back at all. He really went in. The speech was called The Crime Against Kansas. And in this speech, he made personal attacks and personal digs at Democrats. And he actually did not hold back on Andrew Butler, who was a senator from South Carolina. One of the reasons he may have gone in on Andrew Butler the way that he did was because the day that he gave the speech, Andrew Butler wasn't there. And so he was talking about his mama. I don't know if he's talking about his mama, but he did say personal attacks against Andrew Butler. It got bad enough where Andrew Butler wasn't there to stand up for himself, but his nephew, Preston Brooks, was. And Preston Brooks did not appreciate what Charles Sumner was saying about Andrew Butler. So Preston Brooks was actually a congressman. And so he, along with another South Carolina senator, Lawrence Keat, actually went to Senate chambers. Lawrence Keat invited Preston into Senate chambers. I don't know if he knew what Preston Brooks was about to do, but when Preston Brooks walked into Senate chambers, he walked right up to Charles Sumner and caned him, beat him with a cane over the head, beat that man bloody and unconscious, and broke his cane over Sumner's head. It was bad. It was bad because Sumner really was knocked out and couldn't get up and eventually had to leave the Senate for 3 years. He took a 3-year leave of absence because he was beaten up so bad. Imagine being at work and somebody walking your job and just start beating up one of your coworkers and you're just like, oh, ooh, ooh. What do you do? Violence is not the answer. And Preston Brooks should have known that. Preston Brooks was big mad. He even said that dueling was too good for Sumner, but canes are good enough for dogs. And so that's why he caned Charles Sumner. This man was really, really mad. I don't understand why he was so mad about the things that were said about his uncle, unless Charles Sumner talked about his sister, which was Preston's mom. I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm trying to figure out why Preston Brooks was so upset with Charles Sumner enough to hurt this man the way that he did.